Hola, welcome to the Drop Dead Sisters podcast. My name is Francesca.
And my name is Ninoshka.
And how are you, Nino?
I'm good. In my closet, as usual. How about you?
I just think it's stupid that we're asking each other how we're doing. I just feel like it sounds a little more formal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why
But I'm
I
doing
just
good.
asked you, how are you doing? And you just ignore the fuck out of me.
Sorry. Nino, you know how the fuck I'm doing. We're together every fucking day almost. I swear. That's why I think it's stupid that we're asking each other how you're doing. And we were texting, and before we started recording, we're just talking shit in the microphone for no reason.
We only have us. We don't talk to nobody else.
Nino, don't say that. People are going to think that we're so antisocial. No, people, we got children and shit, everyday lives, just like everybody else, but we spend most of the time with each other.
That's how life is here in America.
Yep.
You work, go home, and, well, us hang out with our sister.
No, but we do other shit. We cook, we take showers, we shower and shit.
Why cooking? I hate
Well,
cooking.
Nino, let's just, we're just a little excited, to be here and having you guys listen to us. So we're just going to talk a lot of shit today. You guys are going to have to listen to it. If not, you can always skip the intro and move right into the episode. But before we let you guys know the case that we are going to be discussing today, we want to give a special shout out to Kelly Lee Whaley. She's one of our Facebook supporters and followers. She sent us such a sweet message that me and Nino were about to die when we read
Yeah,
it.
and she also gave us like a super mega review, a 5-star review on Facebook.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, we have great content coming your way. And to answer your question, yes, we do have a Patreon page, but we don't have any premium content. You will only find the episodes that we already have aired out. But very soon we will be having premium episodes for those who are interested. I call it the ultimate Drop Dead Sisters experience.
That's exactly what's going to be an experience. That's what it is.
So
When I
Kelly,
saw that notification of
Yep.
Kelly Lee Whaley, girl,
Yeah.
you made my day, our
Yeah,
day, actually.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you for all the support.
Yep, and for all of those who follow us on Instagram, you guys know that we attempted to record. Well, we recorded this episode that we're doing today 2 days ago, and I lost all of my recordings. So today we're having to re-record everything again. Right, Nina?
Everything. Like, the thing is that we finished the episode, literally.
Yep, and we've been out, for I think over 3 weeks. We've been busy, with life and everything, but we are doing this again after we lost the first episode we recorded, and now it's like we are going to be reliving all of those killings again.
Well,
Again.
today we're going to be discussing a case in which there were at least 14 known victims that were brutally killed and dozens who were horribly tortured. The monster of Richard Ramirez. This dude is just ridiculous. This guy was mostly known as the Night Stalker. This dude was vicious. He didn't have a specific victim type. It could be a woman, a man, or a child, which is ridiculous. It didn't matter to him at all. And he was also satanic, and he praised evil. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, he was
Well,
dark like that.
Please keep in mind that the details of this crime are brutal and graphic, okay? His murders were intentionally brutal, evil, and vicious. He was
Evil.
never... I had maybe a French accent. Evil.
There goes bully Francesca. Let me stop
I
that
watch
shit.
Hotel Transylvania a lot.
Ah,
so that's
exactly.
where it
You
comes from.
sounded just like the daddy vampire. Say evil again like that. Say it.
Evil. No,
Oh my
it's not gonna come out the same at all. Well, back to the episode. This guy, Richard Ramirez, he was never remorseful for the acts that he committed, and this is why to this day he's one of the most notorious serial killers in this history.
Yep.
And in the future probably, because when you guys hear what this guy did,
Yep. Yeah, there is right now on the new American Horror Story summer of 1984, they play the character of Richard Ramirez. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything. You guys definitely have to watch it, but they do a pretty good job. And it's not like we are like praising a serial killer. Like, never. They committed horrible acts that ruined the lives of so many innocent lives, and it's not only about that. It's just to tell a real life story, that actually happened, and bring awareness of how fucked up a human mind can be. And this is the evil case of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Do you admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another, are we not?
Richard Ramirez was born in 1960 in El Paso, Texas. He was the youngest of 5 siblings. It's said that Richard's father was very abusive towards him. It's also said that Richard experienced a few epilepsy episodes in his early years due to a couple of strong head injuries that he had received. And nobody knows if it's because they were inflicted, these head injuries were inflicted by his abusive father, or he was said to be a clumsy kid. So who knows if maybe, he was just being clumsy all the time. Who knows? I'm pretty sure that they were inflicted by his father. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you just don't fall and hit your head constantly when you fall.
Yeah, no. And we're clumsy as fuck.
Yeah, and I've never had a head injury. And we play volleyball also, so
thank God. I know.
It's not that easy.
It was to the level that he did experience, epilepsy episodes. And I know that epilepsy episodes may, fuck up a little bit with, your brain and stuff. So you're starting to see early things that happened to Richard Ramirez. So after all of this abuse, of course, Richard tried to avoid his father. And it's stated that he began to spend nights and sleep in the cemetery. It's, a little bit dark, but I guess better than staying in an abusive home, in my opinion.
Well, it had to be very bad if it was to the point that he went to sleep in the cemetery. Don't you think?
It wasn't under a bridge.
Yeah.
It was in the cemetery.
That's creepy. That's the last place I would sleep.
Yeah. Well, but we're gonna see that he was a little dark.
Well, things began to turn a little dark when Richard began to spend time with his older cousin Miguel, who was a war veteran. Miguel was a fucked up person though. Back in Vietnam, he would rape and torture women, and he would take pictures of these horrible acts, and when he was back home, he would show this to young Richard Ramirez. That's fucked up. Yep. Yep. we said it at the same time, you see?
Yeah.
Well, I bet this was a major trauma for young Richard, as he was learning about gruesome shit that his cousin was doing to people, and the cousin also bragged about it. So I guess this is when Richard was introduced to more vicious violence than he was already used to with his father. It's said that Miguel also taught Richard military skills and killing tactics. Oh, and listen to this. Miguel, Richard's cousin that we've been talking about, this fucked up idiot, was also married. And in a domestic dispute with his wife, he literally shot her in the face, killing her, and Richard was present. So even more trauma for Richard Ramirez to go through.
That would be crazy. I think that he was maybe in his pre-teens or teens, and he's been through this abusive relationship.
I think he was 11.
Maybe, yeah. Imagine that shit. And then, this dude, after all the abuse, and he's sleeping in cemeteries and shit, and then he's seeing all this fucked up shit. I think I saw that Miguel, the cousin, he showed him a picture of, this is a little, graphic, but a picture of a severed woman's head, that he had done in Vietnam. So it was very graphic, fucking gory shit that this asshole Miguel was showing Richard Ramirez when he was less than 15 years old. It's
yeah,
pretty
and it's not like we're trying to put it whatever he did was he has an excuse for doing that.
No.
But it's not that. But this
it's
shit is messed up,
nature versus nurture. That's the debate. It's always the same thing, he, all he's been through, and then seeing Miguel shot his woman right then and there just because they were arguing, that is definitely a lot of trauma. And again, we're not justifying, this is not some justification, but you can see, all the shit that he's gone through before he's 15 years old. Okay.
Yeah, I saw in the documentary that his mom actually was a very good woman. His mom was Catholic and stuff,
But she would allow the shit. So I'm sorry, woman, that you're listening.
It's
We
just
are
those
not.
times. It was in 1940s, you know.
I'm like, we're not in those days. And to be honest, like, you should always respect yourself and make sure that nobody's fucking up with your children or nothing like that. You know, you need to put respect to it. It's not. But back in the day, it was all like the man, the man, the man. No, hell no, hell no. So after this incident, Richard Ramirez moved in with his older sister. His sister's husband was said to be a fucking peeping Tom. Like, yo, you know what that is?
What the fuck is a peeping Tom?
A peeping Tom. Just Google it, okay? It said that he would bring Richard Ramirez with him to peep through people's windows and watch women getting undressed and shit. So that's what a peeping Tom is, okay? They literally just like, yeah.
You're so rude.
Yeah, no, that's just, it's just so disgusting for me to explain it. Like, why does that have a name as a peeping Tom? Peeping Tom to me sounds like if it was like a, I don't know, like a cartoon
Like
or
a
something.
little boy that has to pee. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, peeping Tom, like mini Tom, you need a peeping, you know what I mean? No, it's disgusting sicko shit, okay?
God. What the fuck?
I'm like, Nino, please don't ask me what that is. I don't want to explain it. That was
my
me.
Goodness.
Anyway, so I just think it's just weird how all these fucking men, sicko men, are just wanting to hang out with young Richard Ramirez. Like, why, you know? The first one showed him all the fucked up shit he did to women in Vietnam and all that shit, and now this one is teaching him how to be a peeping Tom? What?
But why would you want to show that type of stuff to a little kid?
No, but listen, he didn't want to do it alone. They were just peeping Tomming together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And the thing is that it was Richard Ramirez's sister's husband.
Yeah, and if it was a girl, we'll be peeping Tammy.
Oh my God. Like, I thought I took it far, but this is like, yo. Oh my goodness. I'm choking
I'm
here. Let me
sorry.
take a sip of water. Hold on.
Oh, guys,
Oh, my
I'm so
goodness.
sorry. This was just hilarious.
Peeping Tanisha. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Whatever. So let's proceed. At this point, it said that Richard Ramirez was using drugs, well, LSD to be precise, and he also converted into Satanism. He also dropped out of school in the 9th grade. He got a job at a hotel, and since he had a master key access because, you know, he used to work there, he would get into people's rooms in the middle of the night and steal from them. And one night, Richard entered a room to rob, but he encountered a woman, and when he was about to rape her, like he was just, you know, he was gonna rob, but he saw a woman, he's like, oh, let me, you know, he was just gonna straight up rape her. Thank goodness her husband walked in the room. It
Oh
said
my
that
God.
the husband beat the fuck out of Richard, though.
Thank God.
Yep. But the problem is that charges were never filed against Richard because these people were from out of state, and because they did not want to have to go to trial, you know, and stay in that place or travel back and forth. No charges were ever filed. And well, after this incident, of course, Richard Ramirez was fired from the job at the hotel. It's like terrifying, yo. Like knowing that you're staying in a hotel, probably on vacation, and a fucking weirdo with access to a master key is, you know, is just gonna enter your room and try to like hurt you or rob you. Isn't that's scary?
It's just frustrating because, you know, the person that hired him is not going to know that he's a fucking psycho. You know?
Exactly. And back in the day, once again, you know, no background checks because he did have a previous criminal history. Like not yeah, he did. But I don't know. I just feel like if after this incident charges would have been filed against Richard, all the fucked up shit that we're about to tell you guys probably would have been avoided.
When Richard was 22 years old, he moved to California. And on April 10 of 1984, he committed his first known killing. Unfortunately, it was a 9-year-old girl named May Long. Leon?
Leon.
I don't know.
I'm acting like I know. I'm Leon.
She was found in the basement of a hotel Richard was living in the moment in San Francisco, California. When the young little girl was found, she was hanging from a pipe. She had been raped, brutally beaten, and stabbed. What the hell? Yeah. Richard was not apprehended for this crime then, since no one knew who had done such a horrendous and evil crime. But his DNA was collected at the scene. Yep.
That's fucked up, yo. A 9-year-old little girl, like, he literally, like, beat the fuck out of her. He raped her. He stabbed her, and then he stuffed her in just like a pipe.
This man is disgusting. Like,
yeah.
And we're just starting.
Yep.
On June 28th of 1984, so the same year, Not even 3 months after his first known killing, another victim was found. This time it was a 79-year-old woman named Jenny Vinco. She was found dead in her apartment in LA. She had been brutally and repeatedly stabbed while she was sleeping in her bed. Her throat slashed so deeply that she was nearly decapitated. Richard Ramirez also left his DNA in the scene, but he was still not apprehended by police yet. So that shows you basically how he had no particular type of person. Basically, he went from a 9-year-old to a 79-year-old.
Yep.
Okay.
He had no type. Then, on March 17th of 1985, nearly 9 months after this attack, the Night Stalker struck again. This time, it was 22-year-old Maria Hernandez. She was attacked as she was pulling into her garage. Ramirez shot at her right in the face, but luckily, listen to this. She was covering her face with her keys in her hand, when you put it in the finger as a ring. And could you believe that the bullet hit the fucking key and not her, and she survived?
What the hell?
Girl, yes, it was not for her. However, Maria was not alone at her apartment. Her 34-year-old friend, Dale Joshi Akasaki, was there. When her friend heard the gunshot, it said that she hid behind the kitchen counter, but Richard found her and shot her right in the forehead. It said that she went to look on top of the counter and he shot her right then and there in the forehead, killing her instantly. And listen to this. Within an hour, of this attack, Richard struck again. He pulled 30-year-old Sasai Leanne Veronica Yu out of her vehicle and shot her twice. So he just pulled her out of her own car and just shot her twice. He was just on a roll. He just wanted to kill people. It's crazy.
It was on a killing spree.
Yep. As usual, because he did this all the time, he just fled the scene. Unfortunately, the lady died upon arriving to the hospital. This was just a fucking random attack. It's random.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah, he's all over the place killing his victims.
He already killed 4 victims.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. He didn't have a specific MO. He could, stab them. He could beat them to death. He could just rape them. It was just crazy. And he wasn't picky at all. It could be, like we said at the beginning, any race, any sex, anything. He didn't care.
Any age.
Yep.
Well, at this point, people were already freaking out since the news and media were covering the gruesome murders and there was a killer on the run. 10 days later, another vicious crime happened. On March 27 of 1985, he broke into a home at approximately 2 a.m. and killed 64-year-old Vincent Charles Cesara. The victim was sleeping and Richard Ramirez shot him in the head. That's what he liked to do, kill people at his sleep. What the hell?
Yep, the Night Stalker.
True that. Mr. Charles' wife, 44-year-old Maxine Lavania, was awakened by the gunshot, and when Ramirez saw her, he brutally beat her and bound her hands. While he demanded to know where their valuables were, since he intended to rob them.
So basically, he just went in 2 a.m, killed the husband, and then he goes and fucking kills the wife. And then he literally beats the fuck out of her, bounds her, and then he's like, tell me where the shit is. Why can't you just ask for valuables or just rob?
Why just go through all the drawers and don't ask,
But
dude?
no, he literally did the most damage as he could, and he just wanted to take everything from them.
Well, while Richard Ramirez was ransacking the room, like we said, Maxine was able to untie herself and reach out to grab a shotgun that they kept under the bed. But unfortunately, the gun was unloaded, and when Richard Ramirez noticed what she was intending to do, he shot her 3 times, but that wasn't it. Richard Ramirez then went to the kitchen and took a large carving knife, and he went to Maxine's lifeless body and stabbed her repeatedly, mutilating her body. Then, it's then and after and then and after.
Ew, but this part is so graphic, and be aware, people. I mean, I know this is a true crime podcast, and it sucks when people give warnings because, of course, you guys are here to hear everything that happened, but this part is fucked up, okay?
Yeah, this freaking guy gouged both of her eyes out and placed them inside a jewelry box that he took with him, I guess as a fucking trophy or something. I don't know. This is just fucking fucked up, man.
Yep, that's fucking weird. Like Cain in See No Evil. I swear to God, it's weird.
Ugh, that movie was very disturbing.
Yep, the only evidence that police had from this attack were Richard Ramirez's footprints from his Avia sneakers. And to be honest, later on, you're going to see why we say the brand of the sneaker. It becomes very important later in the investigation. And then at this point, police realized that a serial killer was at large. So right now is when they're like tying everything together, seeing vicious murders around the same area, in the night. And on May 14 of 1985, not even 2 months after this gory crime, Richard Ramirez entered the home of 66-year-old Bill Doy and his 56-year-old wife, Lillian. And it said that his wife, Lillian, she was disabled. So Richard went, like always, shot the husband, Mr. Doy, right in the face. And he also brutally beat him. So I'm guessing that he still wasn't dead. And then he actually died later in the hospital, Mr. Doy. So he shot him, and then I guess because he didn't kill him, he beat him. I don't know. This dude was just full of rage, okay? Then he ransacked the house for valuables. But like always, he was not done. It's like, I don't know, again, his intentions were just to commit pure evil. He went to the room of the disabled Lillian and he bound her and raped her. It's just...
Oh my God.
Yeah, he wasn't done.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh my God. This is so sad. I cannot understand how he can just go... Children, disabled women, old people, young people. This is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Well, then a couple of weeks after, on May 29 of 1985, the Night Stalker struck again. He was driving a stolen vehicle when he decided to stop at the house of 83-year-old Mabel Bell and 81-year-old Florence Lang. Richard found a hammer in the kitchen, took it, then he bound and bludgeoned. I have issues saying that word.
Yeah, it's spelled very weird. Bludgeoned.
Bludgeoned. And, well, after that, he raped the invalid Florence in her bedroom. He then proceeded to do the same with her sister Mabel. However, this time he also used an electrical cord to choke her. I'm not quite sure if she was raped, but after this, he used a red lipstick to draw a pentagram on the woman's thigh and also on the walls of their bedrooms. Like, very viciously satanic. Both women were found alive, but unfortunately, Mabel Bell later died from her injuries. The very next day, Richard Ramirez sneaked into the home of 42-year-old Carol Kyle. He bound her and her 11-year-old son with his handcuffs and ransacked the house like he normally does every house he goes to. It stated that after this, he sodomized Carol, the mom, and it said that he ordered her not to look at him, otherwise he would cut her eyes out. Oh my God.
He didn't want them to look at him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He then bind the two together, the mom and the son, and as usual, the Night Stalker fled the scene.
Yep, and then on July 2nd of 1985, almost 2 months after these brutal attacks, driving another stolen vehicle, Richard Ramirez broke into the house of 75-year-old Mary Louise Cannon. The victim was asleep in her bedroom, as usual. He proceeded to bludgeon her repeatedly and viciously with a lamp. And then, using a 10-inch butcher knife, one of those, big knives, from the same victim's kitchen, he stabbed her to death. 3 days after this, on July 5th of 1985, he broke into another home. This time, the victim was 16-year-old, Whitney Bennett. And it's crazy because we've seen, him killing like 50-plus people for a while, and now he, again, doesn't care. So this time it was a 16-year-old girl. He entered the home and bludgeoned her with a tire iron while she was asleep in her bedroom. And since he was not able to find a knife, he attempted to strangle her with a telephone cord. This time the cord broke, and when the victim began to breathe, it said that Richard Ramirez stated that probably Jesus Christ, saved her. So what he did was he just left the victim there and just fled. So he thought that miraculously, she was saved by some, mystical Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It's just weird how he was satanic, and he believes that if he was unable to kill a victim, it's because she was saved by her God. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, it's just basically just how you believe in good, you have to believe in evil. Yep. Well, he was backwards.
Yep, he just did that and he just left. And Whitney, thank goodness, the victim survived these horrible attacks, and she received almost 500 stitches.
500?
Yep, nearly 400 and something. It was literally almost 500 stitches because she had this big ass laceration in her scalp. It's just crazy.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then on July 7, 2 days after this attack, Richard Ramirez entered the home of 61-year-old Lucille Nelson. Richard found the victim was asleep in the living room couch, and he decided to beat her to death using his own fists. What the heck? This guy has no stopping.
Rage.
This is crazy.
Demonic
He also
rage.
kicked. Oh, and then here we go again with the after and after. He also kicked her in the head so hard that the shoe print from his Avia sneaker was imprinted on her face. Oh my God. This Avia sneakers again. We mentioned that. After this attack, it said that Richard Ramirez drove around 2 other neighborhoods when he decided to return to the area where he committed the previous crime and chose to attack the residence of 63-year-old Sophie Dickman. He handcuffed and beat the victim, also tried to rape her, but it said that he just stole her jewelry, and when he asked her if she was sure that he had taken all the jewelry and she swore to it, he made her swear on Satan. Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking creepy. Like, you're being brutally attacked that way, and then this weirdo that you don't even know that's attacking you in your own home in the middle of the night is making you swear on Satan. That's fucked up. That's creepy.
Aquí estoy yo, like, resignándome.
Sweating, just, yeah, like Lord,
Oh my God.
between a bunch of clothes. This time, when we recorded the other episode that we lost, I was like, I always record in the closet with the light off. This time, after all, because like I tell you,
hell no.
yeah, this time I have the light on. Like, there's no way.
Acho, I will never record with my light off.
I do.
Hell no.
I do, but not with this episode. I just feel like the last episode that we tried to record, I told you, I was trying to send you a text message letting you know, like, Nino, I'm ready, and they wouldn't send, like, never. They wouldn't send.
And then I was
happened.
having issues with my
Audio?
with my headphones.
Yep.
The audio. Then that happened that it wasn't
recording.
They didn't record yours.
Yep.
It's pretty weird stuff, man.
It's crazy.
Well, you were gonna say
I
something?
was going to say how scared I was, okay?
I'm scared for you right now.
I know.
Well, on July 20th of 1985, it stated that Richard Ramirez purchased a machete before driving on a stolen car to the home of 66-year-old Leila Nading on her 68-year-old husband Maxon. I just want to mention how easy it is for this guy to freaking rob cars. Like, every single time he killed somebody, he robbed a car.
Yeah.
With no issues. What
Yep.
the hell? Well, he broke into their house and went to the couple's bedroom and hacked them with a machete. He then killed both of them with a shot to the head. After he killed them, he continued to mutilate their bodies with a machete and also robbed them. Oh my God. It's like post-mortem is the way of him getting satisfaction or something.
Post, pre, post,
post.
during.
Oh, that's true. I understand your point now. I got lost.
Yeah,
I thought you were correcting me.
No, like before, after, later, now. Like, he's just...
This is crazy.
He's vicious. He was on a roll, and it was not enough for him with all the crimes that he had already committed. Or if he had already killed someone, he just had to, like you said, fuck up the body after. He didn't even care. He was vicious as fuck. And he normally, like always, like to take control. He would normally kill, like, the husband first, which is so sad.
He will kill everybody that is there.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Yo, Jonathan just brought me a drink. I bet you guys didn't even hear. But my boyfriend just made me a drink, an alcoholic beverage. And
As usual.
I don't know what the fuck is in it because he's not telling me. But this shit is good.
Of course it's good.
I need
That's
to-
the problem.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, on August 18th of 1985, Richard Ramirez broke into the home of Peter and Barbara Pan. And to be honest, I don't mean to make a joke, but I wrote it that way, the home of Peter and Barbara Pan, because it'll be weird if I say that Richard Ramirez broke into the home of Peter Pan and Barbara Pan.
But it's literally Peter Pan. Why would his
know.
parents name him Peter?
They probably like Peter Pan.
The last
okay?
name is Pan.
Anyway, it was not a joke, okay? Like, these
I'm
are
so
real
sorry,
victims, but I thought it was funny. So I had to, make sure that I worded it properly. So he entered the home of the Pans and he shot Mr. Peter Pan, while he was sleeping. And then he proceeded to sexually assault Miss Pan. And then he shot her in the head. Listen what he did next. He took red lipstick and he drew a pentagram in the wall. And he wrote this phrase, Jack the Knife. That's so weird.
The hell?
Yeah. That's
Well,
so
probably
weird.
like Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
That's where he took it from.
After this horrible crime that he, took the time to draw a pentagram and all of that, he was not as lucky. In the crime scene, the investigators were able to find ballistics from the gun and footprints from Richard Ramirez avian sneakers. That's the one that we've been telling you to remember because it's very important as a part of the investigation. So right now, the police is actually able to tie this murder to previous murders. They already knew they had a serial killer, but now they have an important piece of evidence that they're able, to start putting together. And Richard has left some DNA prior. So this is the reason why, now police is just putting everything together. So after this murder, unfortunately, the mayor of San Francisco at the time, her name was Diane Feinstein, she released this information in a press conference. Like, there was a televised press conference, and she said that they found ballistics in the scene and footprints from the specific brand of avian sneakers. So some people say it was a mistake, and it was probably something that, affected the investigation because investigators did not want this information to be released because if the perpetrator more than likely is following the case and they probably know that, oh shit, they have my sneakers. Well, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think
Just
they're going to
keep
do?
them and buy more,
No, just keep the shoes and go do another crime. Bitch, no, he's going to throw the shoes away and buy new
Exactly.
pairs. Okay? A new pair of Shacks at Walmart. Okay? I don't think those were out yet, though.
God.
That was so lame.
But everybody had them, so that would be a good. No, don't give suggestions.
If it was these days, he would buy a pair of Yeezys.
If he's buying a pair of Yeezys, there's no need for him to be doing some stuff like this.
Yeah, he's buying it with the valuables that he stole from all these
Goodness
poor people.
gracious. Oh my God.
Oh
That's
my God,
horrible.
we went completely off topic. I even mentioned Kanye West shoes. God damn it! Like, why? Jonathan will be so happy listening to this episode.
I'm gonna be happy when we're done because Alex brought me some Chinese food.
Are you trying to tell me to hurry the fuck up? Okay, let's finish. So, the mayor accidentally released this information, and well, what do you think? Richard went and got rid of the fucking shoes and threw them in the Golden Gate Bridge in the middle of the night. Duh.
What did they think he was gonna do? Like, come on.
I'm pretty sure that she did not intend to release this information for any harm or to jeopardize the investigation. But I feel like she just acted out of probably rage, and she just wanted to make sure that he knew that they were getting closer to find him, But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that people were probably gonna be like more clues of, oh, I saw this guy with his sneakers and stuff. So
Yep.
you never know. Well, Richard proceeded to break in and ransack houses, kill people, rape them, torture them, and he would also make them swear to Satan or swear their love to Satan. He would just do it in the middle of the night in the place where you feel the safest, your home.
That's fucked up.
This is crazy, being through the situation and then he just comes out with that shit like you said. Like, come on. This is just, you'll be terrified. And we also know that back in the 80s, people used to, most of the time, leave their windows, doors, and cars open. So it wasn't hard for this monster of Richard Ramirez to do all the crazy shit he did.
They were very trustful back in the day. Like, people would not lock their windows or their doors or their cars. They would be so trustworthy. And it's weird because back in the day, I feel like more of these crazy serial killer crimes happen. You know what I mean? I feel like it used to happen more. These days we have like
there were no
rings.
cameras and
Exactly.
stuff, That's probably why.
Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like these days we're more aware. There are, like I just said, like security cameras, also the technology and DNA, forensics, and all of that are very advanced. So I guess it's harder for this crazy people just to get away with crime,
Yep, definitely. On August 24 of 1985, Richard drove down to Mission Viejo, California, about 76 miles south of where he was already committing these crimes in California, in a stolen vehicle, of course. When he arrived to this town, he broke into the home of James Romero. So Mr. Romero and his wife were sleeping, and their 13-year-old son, James, was awake. So he heard some footsteps outside, and thank God he did. He thought it was a robber or something, and it's true. Of course, Richard was going to rob them, but he was much more than that. And we all know he was a monster. So he went and told his parents, and when Mr. Romero went out to check, to know who the fuck was there, Richard began to flee, like he always did. But this time, Mr. Romero was able to get the license plate of the car and the make and model. So this was like very, very important information.
Thank God.
Yep. He was able to do that, and he went to police with this information thinking that it was only a thief. But of course, we all know that this is like literally like the information the police need to tie up Richard with all these crimes. You know what I mean?
He had no idea
What was
the
coming.
monster that was in his house that he just
Yeah.
saved his butt from.
I'm happy that, teenagers, that they always want to stay like awake after hours. Like, I'm glad that
Yep.
that kid was awake, because we all know that if they would have been sleeping, Richard would have fucked them up for real.
Definitely. Well, since he wasn't able to perpetrate the previous house, he proceeded to break into the house of the Carnes family. He shot Mr. Carnes 3 times in the head and then told the wife that he was the Night Stalker. So now he's proud of the name. She must have been fucking terrified, I bet. It said that he made her swear her love to Satan again while he was beating her. He then bound her and went to ransack the house for valuables. After finding a few valuables, he dragged her to another room and raped her. It said that before he fled, he told her to tell everyone that he was the Night Stalker. After he fled, she was able to untie herself and ran to the neighbor's house to go get help. It said that she was in pretty bad condition. Luckily, neither of the Carnes died that night, despite Mr. Carnes being shot 3 times in the head. He survived.
Yep.
What in the world? First the keys thing, and now this is God's hand, I
Yeah,
swear.
and the girl that was being, choked, and she survived too.
Right.
Yep. So when the police arrived at this crime scene, the victim was able to give details of her attacker to the investigators. Richard also left a footprint at the scene, and even though he had already thrown his old pair of shoes away, the investigators were able to tie it up because it was the same shoe size. Just in case, Richard Ramirez was an 11 and a half, okay? On August 28th of 1985, the police found a stolen car, and they were able to tie it up to Richard because they found one single fingerprint. And with this print, they were able to identify Richard. The 25-year-old, he was said to be a drifter from Texas. He had already multiple arrests for illegal drugs and traffic violations. And this is how they were able to find him, because he already had a previous record. That's why sometimes we hear of crimes where it's harder for police to find something with DNA evidence or anything else they may have, because they don't have a criminal past. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and imagine on those times that I believe that all this fingerprint stuff was in files. It wasn't even like a system now.
Yeah, this was like their moment. It was time to catch this fucking monster and just get him to pay for all the damage he's already caused.
Well, on August 31st of 1985, the newspaper released a picture of Richard Ramirez, and everyone was out in the look for this guy. Within hours, Richard Ramirez was caught by a community in East LA as he tried to steal a car, trying to run away from the cops. Stealing cars again. This dude, what the hell? They captured him and beat the fuck out of him, and he was arrested. So he got a little bit of everything at the same time.
I'm so happy. Like, it's crazy. I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, you guys need to watch American Horror Story. But I like it how they make it.
I haven't watched it.
No, but I love how they make it kind of realistic, which is the thing that I love the most about this past episode. But it's fucked up because literally the people from the neighborhood, like, were in the lookout. People were sick already of seeing all these horrible crimes happening, and when they identified him, they beat the fuck out of him, and I'm so happy they did.
Oh, so it's literally the same like the story?
What?
American Horror Story?
Bitch, I can't
I didn't
spoil it.
understand the why you say why like that, but I get it now.
For those who don't understand if you guys don't know, we're from Puerto Rico, duh. And we have this type of like frog, right? It's the smallest. Yeah, it's like really, really, really tiny. It's called a coqui. And they do that sound. So in Puerto Rico, it's an inside joke that when you say a joke and nobody laughs, or you say something or don't want to say something, you just
Everybody
do that.
stays too quiet. You do that because if you're quiet and there's no noise, that's what you hear, the coquis.
That's all you hear. Okay, it's an inner joke, but us Puerto Ricans will get it. And if you guys ever go to Puerto Rico, which is a very beautiful island, you guys will know what we mean, and it's amazing, okay?
You won't regret it.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep.
Well, back to the episode. The people in the street had a party to celebrate celebrate all this shit that they did.
Hell yeah, they
So-
caught him. They caught him.
Hell yeah. I will be celebrating with them there.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they were finally in peace, knowing that this animal was no longer terrorizing their streets, you know? But that didn't end there. His trial lasted 4 years. He always interrupted showing satanic signs and yelling shit at the judge.
Yep.
I mean, I don't expect any less from this maniac. There is a footage out there in YouTube of him. You guys should definitely watch it if you haven't and see for yourself. He was sentenced to death row for 13 murders, and while he was serving his sentence, he was charged with a 14th murder. Oh, and he thought he was innocent.
Yeah,
by the way.
he just thought that he didn't do anything wrong. So because he thought he hadn't done anything wrong, he thought he was innocent. And yo, listen to this. He had women that were crazy for him. Like they actually
What?
liked him. Yeah, they actually physically, probably sexually and sickly liked him. And he would say, I saw this interview, that he was just a regular guy who had a few open-minded friends. You know what I mean? Like they were open-minded. That's why they probably liked him. And I'm like, people like, or bitch, like, you want to die? Like,
Well, if this freaking woman loved him so much, I wish that it was them who he had, get out all his desires and all these innocent people.
They don't know what they're doing. They're crazy
Me fui?
bitches. They're crazy bitches.
Sorry, I just had a moment.
I
there.
know. You're like, well, if people were gonna die, they might have. This might have. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'll delete this part. Let me shut the fuck up.
We want you guys to hear a mini clip of an interview the reporter Mike Watkins did with Richard Ramirez after he was convicted, so that you can hear how this monster spoke about all the evil shit he did to innocent people.
What do you want the world to know about you?
The world has been fed many lies about me. I have read very few truths.
Who are you?
Just a guy. Just a guy. I have friends. That is all I care to say, really. They are open-minded people.
And it was here in a cramped room in a San Francisco jail that I interviewed the man known as the Night Stalker. A memorable face-off with me asking questions and Ramirez, for the most part, reading from a script.
Did you kill 13 people?
It would be improper for me to comment on my LA convictions and on my pending case here in San Francisco
Why?
because of my appeals.
Are you appealing these because you say you're innocent? You didn't kill 13 people?
That is correct.
You didn't kill 13 people.
Again, it would be improper for me to comment in any regard to that question.
Tell me what kind of emotions you got going through you right now.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago.
Why?
I don't care to explain that.
Somebody-
Let the quote stand for itself. People in this day and age are brainwashed and programmed like a computer at being nothing more than puppets. This nation, this country is founded in violence. Violent delights tend to have violent ends. Madness is something rare in individuals, but in groups, people, and ages, it is a rule. Killing is killing, whether done for duty, profit, or fun.
Do you worship the devil? Have you ever studied Satanism?
There are different sects of Satanism.
Have you studied, just yes or no, have you studied
Yes,
Satanism?
yes, I have.
Are you a worshiper of the devil?
No comment.
Come on, Richard.
I can tell you a little bit about Satanism.
Well, I'm interested in hearing what you got to say then.
It is undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. It is power without charity. A Satanist admits to being evil.
Do you admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another, are we not?
I'm asking you the questions, my friend.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil. Evil has always existed. The perfect world most people seek shall never come to pass, and it's going to get worse.
Well, as you guys can hear, he tried to act as if he was so fucking knowledgeable, like trying to act proper and shit and prove his point and shit. Like, dude, you are a motherfucking animal and a vicious one, okay?
What the heck?
Yeah, like I don't even know how the reporter was capable of speaking so close to this guy. That has to be crazy, to be honest. Interviewing
I just
someone
bet
like
because
this.
obviously they just want to know his thoughts, what goes through his mind, you know?
Yep, I don't even know how they're able to do it because it's not like he's a celebrity or anything. He's a fucking serial killer, okay? A person who didn't give a fuck about anybody but his evil self, trying to act as if, what he did was totally normal in this world when we all know that it's not. It's horrific. Lives were taken, family members were stuck knowing that their significant others died this way. It's fucked up, okay? So Richard, fuck you, burn in hell, okay?
He is. But I feel like us human beings are always looking for answers. So when we find this weird people, we always want to know why, all this type of stuff. That's why I feel like they go and talk to them because they're in jail. So they're trying to see why.
It's definitely true. And, that's why we are like literally crime junkies.
Yeah, and us people out there want to hear it too, you know?
Yeah, because it's crazy, but I just feel like it'll be very weird to just be so close to a person like that he was so evil that who knows if he would have just taken the man and just killed him right there, just punching the fuck out of him. Or
That's
the
true.
cameraman.
Sometimes I think about that. Or the reporter lose it and kill him.
Oh shit, that would be a twist.
Yeah, what the hell? Do you think I'm going to be able to look at a man that killed so many people and not want to kill him?
Yep.
What the hell?
Nope.
Well, after being in the death row for over 23 years, Richard Ramirez finally died on June 7th of 2013 at the age of 53. From complications with lymphoma, he also had hepatitis C. And he was also a motherfucker.
Finally.
Thank
We're so happy
Jesus.
that he died. Yep. We're so happy that he died. And to be honest, we really don't want to spend more time talking about this animal. Our hearts go with the victims and the families, that suffered because of the brutal crimes that this fucking monster of the Night Stalker committed. And, well, this is it for today's episode.
That was an episode.
Girl, yeah, it was so fucking exhausting to discuss all of these crimes twice because it's the second time we recorded. It was exhausting.
It was double the pain.
Yep. And this is like the first episode that we do on a serial killer, okay? It is the first one. We've
That's
covered
true.
other. Yeah, it's the very first one. And, it's October. We're covering it. And this shit was intense. This case is intense. The research. The research was intense. And again, there were so many innocent lives taken in such a horrific manner that I just can't even believe it because he was a horrible monster.
It was just so many. And thank God that they got him because if not, girl, it would have been hundreds.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Well, we really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We really try to continue to bring you a weekly episode like we did at the beginning, but we also feel like it's kind of good for you guys to miss our content,
Miss us, yay.
We noticed that when we take over a week off, our downloads go up, and then we feel so happy and motivated to make a new cool episode,
Yep, because we know you're like digging for all of our other episodes. And well, now if you're done, like our Facebook friend, then listen to this one, okay? And then we will bring you another episode very soon. We are really, really thankful of all of you who support us. Please, people, I call them people, damn no. Please, fans, don't forget to subscribe, to our podcast in iTunes, Google Music, Spotify, Stitcher, I don't know, YouTube, your favorite podcasting app, anywhere. Just subscribe. That will really, really help our podcast, be discovered. We really feel like we have great content for you guys. I know we joke, but we also cover every single detail of episodes so that you guys know what the fuck went down. And also, please follow us on social media, okay?
Yeah, you guys have no idea how happy you guys make us every time we see anything, a like, a download, a share, anything. So follow us on Instagram at Drop Dead Sisters Podcast, in Twitter, Drop Dead Sisters, and on Facebook, Drop Dead Sisters True Crime Podcast. Oh, and you can also visit our website at dropdeadsisters.com.
Why
for
you
more
laugh when you
information.
invite people? Why would you laugh when you invite people to our website?
Because I just get excited when I see that we have a website.
I know. Sometimes I'm in my computer at work, and I'm like not doing anything, and I type in dropdeadsisters.com. And I look at it.
beautiful.
I wait until it loads because sometimes, yes, it does take a little bit to load the logo. Okay, we know.
Doesn't
But then
matter,
I
it's
go
there.
there. I haven't memorized. I'm like home, meet the sisters, aired episodes, contact us, and the ultimate Drop Dead Sister experience, which is our Patreon. Which stay tuned, people, because we are coming with more content for you guys.
Yep,
Okay?
and that's why the reviews and reviews and subscriptions are no. I can't say
You
subscriptions.
can't. Let me say it for you. You say reviews and I say subscriptions.
That's why reviews and
Subscriptions.
are very helpful for our podcast. just to help us get discovered. And again, we really appreciate if you guys are so kindly to take the time to do that. You know, that thing that I said, reviews and what?
Subscribe, okay?
Oh, God.
Well, now we are going to play you guys a promo from a cool true crime podcast that we recently discovered. It's called Strange Little Worlds, and it's hosted by the wonderful Danny and Drew. Make sure you guys go check them out. Their website is strangelittle.worlds.com. You can also find them in any podcasting app. Again, it's Strange Little Worlds. So nothing, we're just going to leave you guys with that promo.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They are cool.
Recommend it, definitely. It's pretty interesting. And like you said, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, I'm Danny,
Hey, I'm Drew.
and we are the hosts and producers of
Strange Little Worlds.
a bi-weekly podcast where we tell you stories of
Real life spooky things and murder in the strange little worlds that you know as your home.
Look for Strange Little Worlds on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, and any other platform where you get your podcasts.
Subscribe to us, and we might talk about a spooky story or a murder that happened near your home. We've already covered quite a few stories like
the massacre and later on haunting of the Wickham House,
Joel David Rifkin,
Lake Ronkonkoma,
the Gilgo Beach Killer,
the Old Bermuda Inn,
Andre Rand, also known as the Cropsey Killer,
the Devil's Dwarf,
Elena Kiedlichis,
the Axtell Mansion, or the Legend of Melrose Park,
the murder of Libby Kletsky,
the Most Holy Trinity at St. Mary Church,
Sharabia Thomas, and Rashawn Brazel.